Hello, my name is Haman Mova, and welcome to my Technology Area Final presentation. The topic I'm going to talk to you about today is one that is of interest to me, and it's fairly new in the market. What I'm going to talk to you about today is the smartwatch. So, you might ask, what exactly is a smartwatch? Smartwatch is basically a wearable computing device that you wear on your wrist that offers functionality and capability to those of a smartphone. Smartwatches are designed to be on their own or with their smartphones paired together, providing features like connecting to the internet, running mobile applications, making calls, messaging via text or video, checking your existing stock, checking the weather, using it as a fitness monitor, and offering GPS coordinates and locations for directions, and also many more. Despite the recent excitement about smartwatches, it's not exactly a new idea. IBM introduced a smartwatch back in 2001, which they called the WatchPad, which features consisted of having a Bluetooth and being what they called Internet enabled. In addition to that, Fossil decided to join the game back in 2003 with the Fossil Wrist PDA, which gave the features of a calendar and address book and allowed you to sync information with your computer as well. This is essentially one of the first type of smartwatches that allowed multiple functions to it. And then back in 2009, Samsung even tried a full-blown phone in a watch-like format. It gave all the basic functionality of a phone and what they deemed to be a smartwatch as well. But the biggest splash so far has been in 2012 when when a small third-party company released the Pebble Watch. This watch started a quick trend with the technology area by enabling a lot more features than some other watches had before. The Pebble Watch had more features like notifications of text messaging and replying, sending emails, and having little games, but most importantly, customizations. Customizations that the customer was able to do with their watch. Samsung built on that and started developing their Galaxy Gear series in 2013. They enabled more features and more connectivity with your smartphone and started to make it more of an extension of what you do on your phone. And finally, the watch that appears to be the most anticipated, the Apple Watch, coming out in 2015. Many people in the industry are curious to see how Apple's approach will be to the smartwatch technology area, given the reputation of the company itself. What I feel would change the trend for the smartwatch for the better will be focusing on the customer experience when using the smartwatch. Tapping into this will allow the technology to go over these hurdles, but it takes time and planning to achieve this. The development process for the smartwatch can be a long one with many revisions. The development process that I see with the smartwatch that I think fits best would be the same one that you would use to develop software. And the way that this development process goes, it goes kind of like this. So it's broken down by plan, design, implement, verification, and maintenance. So first one I'll talk about is the plan. So first and foremost, what's your idea? What do you think would work out great for a smartwatch? Or what product do you think or feature that you think you have over the other competitors in the market? This is where research will come in as well. Find out what do you think you're going up against? How can you make a splash into this pond of this technology area? The second, once you figure that out, is we start going into design. Design is when you start figuring out how you want your product to look like. What happens when you go through this procedure, this process, you're going to go through multiple variations of this. So once you have this part figured out, when you have your design figured out, next part is going to be part of the implement. So the implementation, or in this case, creating that first prototype. So once you have this prototype going, this is when you start testing it out, not only of its own functionality with yourself and with your colleagues, but also when you start that prototype up with the public, having them try it out, making their own tests and their own thoughts about it, and getting in all that information when you have customers that are interested in your product, and receiving that feedback. Um, what you do is you take that information, and we go back to verification is our next step. Verification is basically when we go through the design and when we create that prototype, we take that information that we get back from testing and prototyping, and we go back and we do that redesign where we go and you move that button around, or you make the design a little bit smoother or smaller, and we keep going through this process over and over until we finally feel comfortable and confident with the type of product that you feel like are ready to be released. And then finally, once you have that released, once you have your product released, at that point it goes into the maintenance. So once you've done the designing of your product and designing the software of your product and having the prototype released, or the prototype's gone through, and finally you figure out everything, or as much as you can, you get it released out into the public, and then finally everyone starts buying your products, and then that's when you can go and find out maybe more some of the little things that have been going on that you weren't able to find. But once you have everything out in the public with a lot more people using your product, they'll be able to find other little hiccups or bugs that will be available, or that would be viewable. And so with software updates, we can go and not only make improvements to uh, your product to add additional features and things like that, you could also go and set them up to create those bug fixes, which will improve the customer experience and bring the morale of the customer up and more confident with your product as well. So those would be my 5 steps of the technology development process. I do thank you for your time, and I hope you have a good rest of your evening. Thank you very much.